For a lot of people, the path to parenthood isn't always a straight line. And that's where something like surrogacy comes in. It's a journey filled with so much hope and science, but it's also really, really misunderstood. So today, let's dive in and separate the facts from the fiction. I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It really gets to the emotional heart of this whole thing. This isn't just some clinical procedure. It's the finish line. It's that moment where years of just hoping and longing finally turn into the reality of a family. Okay, so at its core, the definition is pretty simple. A woman carries a pregnancy for the intended parents. Seems straightforward enough, right? But the way we do surrogacy today, the modern process, is defined by one absolutely crucial distinction that has changed everything. To really get what surrogacy is all about in today's world, we have to start with this one key difference. Seriously, this is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, check this out, because this is the most important thing to understand. When you hear surrogacy in the US today, people are almost always talking about gestational surrogacy. What that means is the surrogate has absolutely no genetic link to the baby she carries. None. The embryos are made via IVF, using eggs and sperm from the intended parents or donors. That other kind, traditional surrogacy, where the surrogate's own egg is used, it's super rare now, mostly because it just opens up a whole can of legal and emotional worms. So just remember this, that genetic separation is the bedrock of how modern surrogacy works. Okay, so we've got the science down. Now let's get to the human side of all this. Because at its heart, surrogacy is a partnership, a really profound one. And to understand the journey, you have to understand the why from both sides. It's a huge question, right? Who are the people who choose this path, and what brings them to it? The answers really show you the different hopes and goals that bring people together in this unique way. So for the intended parents, the reasons are, as you can imagine, deeply personal. For some, it's a medical necessity. Pregnancy just isn't safe or even possible. For same-sex male couples, it's one of the primary paths to having a biological child. And for others, it's about that powerful desire for a genetic connection, all within a secure and legally protected framework. And then you have the women who choose to be surrogates, and their motivations are just as powerful. It's often this incredible blend of altruism, a genuine, sincere desire to help another family, and some really practical considerations. The financial compensation is significant, helping them achieve their own family's goals. But so many surrogates also talk about this incredible sense of purpose and pride they feel in giving such an extraordinary gift. So, how does this whole thing actually work? It might sound really complex, but it's a highly structured, well-managed process. We're typically talking about a journey that takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months from start to finish. The process is basically broken down into 4 key phases. It all starts with rigorous screening, and I mean thorough medical and psychological evaluations for everyone involved to ensure safety and readiness. Then comes the crucial matching process, finding the right fit on a personal and logistical level. With a match made, separate lawyers for each side draft ironclad contracts. Only then does the medical process of IVF and embryo transfer begin, leading to the pregnancy and birth, where the intended parents are there to welcome their child. All right, let's talk about the practical stuff, the nitty-gritty. The 3 biggest questions that always come up are about the cost, the laws, and the overall safety of the process. The total cost of surrogacy is a combination of several key things. You've got agency fees for managing the whole process, legal fees for both parties, the fertility clinic's costs for all the medical procedures, and of course, the surrogate's compensation and medical expenses. It is a significant financial commitment, and transparency from the start is absolutely crucial. Now, the legal landscape is in a fascinating state of flux. For years, it was a confusing patchwork of state laws, but the clear trend is toward greater acceptance and regulation. We've seen major states like New York and Washington pass strong protective legislation. And the case of Michigan is particularly striking. In 2025, it will go from being the only state to criminalize surrogacy to fully legalizing it. That signals a major cultural and legal shift. So with all these legal changes, you might wonder if this is becoming a more common way for people to build their families. Well, the data provides a very clear answer. The data from the CDC confirms this trend. The percentage of all IVF cycles using a gestational carrier has been steadily increasing for the past decade. This shows that surrogacy is moving from a niche option to a more mainstream and accepted part of assisted reproduction here in the US. As surrogacy becomes more visible, so do the myths surrounding it. So let's take a minute and just bust some of the most common misconceptions with the actual facts. This is the biggest one. As we've already established, in modern gestational surrogacy, the standard in the US, the surrogate has zero genetic connection to the child. The embryo is created from the intended parents or donors. It's a simple but foundational fact. This is a common fear, often fueled by dramatic movie plots. The reality is that the entire process is designed to prevent this. Through intensive psychological screening, legally binding contracts, and court-established parentage orders, the intended parents' rights are secured from the very beginning. And what about the cost? There's this idea that it's exclusively for the super rich. And while surrogacy is a significant expense, that idea is a little outdated. The financial landscape is changing. A growing number of employers are now offering fertility benefits that cover surrogacy, and families are increasingly using tools like financing plans and health savings accounts to make this path to parenthood a reality. So, we've looked at the definitions, the process, the laws, and the myths. But when you strip all of that away, what is this journey really, truly about? This is the question at the heart of the journey. Is surrogacy simply a medical process, or is it a modern form of family building, one that's rooted in trust, generosity, and a profound human connection? Based on the structure, the motivations, and the outcomes, the evidence points overwhelmingly to the latter, a testament to the many ways a family can be created.